Rain hammers against the wooden floor of the Grey Lantern Tavern, pouring through the open door into the darkness. Serena Vane stands in the center of the room, her blade pressed against a man's throat, her knuckles white with pressure. Blood drips from a gash on her cheek and her breath comes in ragged bursts, but her eyes are steady as death itself. The man beneath her blade is perfectly still, pale gray eyes staring up at her without fear, only recognition. Moments earlier, the tavern sits quiet beneath the storm, empty tables casting long shadows in the flickering candlelight. Serena wipes down the bar with a rag, her movements slow and automatic, her mind somewhere far away. The fire crackles low in the hearth, barely enough to push back the cold creeping through the old walls. She pauses and tilts her head, listening to something beneath the thunder. Footsteps on the muddy road outside. The door opens slowly and a figure steps inside, rain cascading off a dark traveling cloak. He pushes back his hood to reveal a lean weathered face, close-cropped dark hair streaked with gray at the temples. A thin scar runs from his left eyebrow to his cheekbone, old and faded but unmistakable to her eyes. Serena's hand freezes on the rag and for a single heartbeat the mask slips from her face. Velcor. He approaches the bar with quiet measured steps, his pale gray eyes sweeping the room before settling on her. He sits on a stool and places his hands flat on the counter where she can see them, an old courtesy between killers. She pours 2 cups of wine without being asked, her movements steady despite the storm raging inside her chest. They drink in silence, 2 people who once shared everything now strangers in a rundown tavern at the edge of nowhere. He speaks first, his voice low and cold, asking if the wine is poisoned. She tells him poison was never her style and he almost smiles at the memory buried in those words. The silence stretches again and she sees his fingers twitch, a gesture she recognizes from decades of training beside him. She asks him who they are holding and his mask cracks for just a moment, pain flickering behind those gray eyes. A daughter, he whispers, a child she never knew existed, barely 7 years old with her father's eyes. Serena's grip tightens on her cup and something like grief passes across her face before vanishing. He tells her he is sorry and in that apology she hears everything, the contract, the guild, the blade he will draw. She moves first. The cup shatters against his face and she vaults the counter, drawing the blade hidden beneath her apron in one fluid motion. He is fast, blocking her first strike and spinning away, twin daggers appearing in his hands like extensions of his bones. They circle each other in the firelight, 2 shadows trained by the same masters, reading each other's intentions before they form. He lunges low and she twists, taking a cut across her cheek but driving her knee into his ribs. They crash through a table and roll apart, both bleeding now, both breathing hard in the cold air. He comes at her again and this time she is ready, sidestepping his blade and catching his wrist with her free hand. She twists hard and feels the bone snap, then drives her blade up beneath his ribs before he can scream. He sags against her and she lowers him to the floor, cradling his head the way she did when they were children. His gray eyes find hers and his broken voice whispers 2 words, little shadow. Her jaw trembles but she does not look away, holding him as the light fades from his gaze. The rain continues to fall through the open door and the fire burns low and Velcor dies in her arms. Serena closes his eyes with blood-stained fingers and presses her forehead to his one final time. Then she stands, wipes her blade clean on her apron, and drags his body toward the back room. She pauses at the door and looks back at the empty tavern, at the blood pooling on the wooden floor. The guild will send another, and another after that, until the Widowmaker is finally dead. But not tonight. She steps into the darkness and closes the door behind her, leaving only silence and the endless rain.